I think, if I'm correct, Mr. Mercatio, is it appropriate now to hear from Mr. Raposa on the matter before us, item number 1?
Yes, Madam Chair. Yep.
Okay. Executive Director Raposa, would you report, please?
Good morning, Madam Chair and honorable members of the board. Before I do start presenting to you, I would just like to bring to your attention that after the 2020 census and prior to the 2022 statewide elections, the state is required to redistrict all of the voting districts within Rhode Island. So it is very timely if we are going to promulgate rules and regulations to be instructing the local boards on what they are doing, because every voting district in the state of Rhode Island will be looked at prior, as I stated, to the 2022 voting districts. On November 3rd, the state will have 421 precincts or voting districts in the 39 communities. They will be using 385 buildings statewide in which these 421 precincts or voting districts will be operated. Every 2 years for statewide elections, at least one or more community must have more than one precinct or voting district located under one roof, which is then referred to as a polling place. To that end, we have 421 precinct voting districts operating statewide on November 3rd. The board staff has been working closely with the local canvassing boards to ensure that as many polling places or locations are open for the election as possible. Each proposed location has been carefully assessed by the staff this year due to COVID situations. And as, each proposed location has been carefully assessed by the staff. This year, COVID has made it much more difficult for a community to locate and maintain their polling locations. But these local boards of canvassers should be commended on performing a Herculean job in identifying and securing these locations. All 39 communities have locations which will no longer be available for use on election day. The previous locations will have postings directing the voter to the building in which their precinct or voting district is now located within their city or town. It is also recommended by the staff that the communities affix lawn signs, if possible, as well, at the location previously used to inform a voter when they arrive rather than have them disembark from their vehicle. In addition, every 4 years for the presidential election, every city and town must identify a location that is set up as the polling place for voters registering to vote within the 30 days of the election, or after the deadline to vote, which in Rhode Island was Sunday, October 4th, to be a location to enable those voters to vote for the president, vice president only. At this time, I am happy to address any questions from the board and ask that you now vote to affirm this information that has been prepared and approved by the staff for the polling places to be used on Tuesday, November 3rd.
Do any of our board members have any questions of Mr. Raposa at this time? Anything you'd like to raise, any questions or concerns? Hearing none, do we have an action that wishes to be made at this point?
Diane.
Yes, Dr. Ramos.
This is a motion that I would go along with the executive director. As he indicated, he's looking for, I think, a positive motion, so I would go along with the executive director, Robert Raposa.
So you've made a motion to affirm his recommendation to the board concerning the polling places, correct? Do we have a second to Dr. Ramos's motion?
Second. Second.
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Johnson. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we are ready to vote. Mr.
Madam-
West, do you have a point you wanted to make?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. West.
we're voting now to approve the voting places that the local boards has sent us, correct?
That is,
As outlined by our executive director, yes.
There was one from the town of Smithfield, I believe, that did not have any signature on. Has that been corrected? Mr. Raposa?
Mr. Raposa?
from Smithfield,
Smithfield, yes, I'm sorry.
I believe it's actually North Smithfield. Board member West, it's actually North Smithfield, and I do have a letter signed by the Board of Canvassers in North Smithfield to that effect.
If I remember, they were supposed to come in and sign that letter that was in our email packet.
I have a signed copy. I believe you have a signed copy as well.
The request to change the voting location.
That is correct.
Has that been done?
Yes, it has.
It
He's
has.
saying yes, Mr. West.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else have a question? Are we ready to vote? Hearing no other comments, Vice Chairman Pierce,
Aye.
Mr. West,
Aye.
Dr. Ramos,
Aye.
Mr. Schulz,
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson,
Aye.
Mr. DeSimone.
Aye.
I'm in favor as well. It's unanimous vote of this board. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Raposa, do we have any kind of a meeting scheduled for next week that you'd like to convey before we sign off here?
We have meetings to commence at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, November 3rd. And then if necessary, they are being posted for 10 a.m. on Wednesday, November 4th, and also at 10 a.m. on Thursday, November 5th.
Understood that if those are needed,
That is
the one on Tuesday is definite. The others are if needed,
That
correct?
is correct.
Very good. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So,
Moved by Mr. Schulz, seconded by Mr. West. Voting on the motion, Vice Chair Pierce.
Aye.
Mr. West.
aye.
Dr. Ramos.
Aye.
Mr. Schulz.
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson.
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson.
Aye, sorry.
We have a bit of a wobbly connection today. I don't know what the problem is. I guess it's the snow. Mr. DeSimone?
Aye.
I'm in favor as well. It's unanimous vote. Thank you all very much. Stay well. See you soon.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everyone.